Fans, benders, and non-benders alike, welcome to Braving the Elements, Nickelodeon's podcast about all things Avatarverse. I'm Janet Varney.
And I'm Dante Bosco. And we are in studio together today,
We
have some special guests that are coming in remotely for a special episode that we are mysteriously calling Choosing Your Fate.
Choose your fate, everybody.
I know it is very, your fate. I messed up.
It is very. No, listen. You can. We're
choose your fate.
Choose your fate. Choose your fate. That's right. You know, we have, I would say, two Avatar fans who are not just talking the Avatarverse talk. They are walking the Avatarverse walk, if you will, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, Varney, I love everything you said, but I would love to maybe even just a pinch. Have you elaborate that?
Yeah,
I'm still a little bit.
I know.
Really
I'm still being mysterious. I don't know why I'm being so mysterious.
Choose your fate. What does that mean?
I don't know why I'm being so mysterious. Well, okay. It's just, this is the thing. You know that one of the main things that we love doing on the podcast is really digging into, you know, just the lessons, the values, the inspiration that we get from watching Avatar, The Last Airbender, watching Legend of Korra.
Which is why this is the best job in the world.
Exactly. But what if I told you that these guests are able to talk about that same kind of stuff that we love to explore on Braving the Elements, but they have also kind of taken the Avatarverse and applied it to their careers, which in turn affects the people that they come into contact with.
That sounds awesome.
They're helping people choose their fate.
That's what that's. Okay, well then let's bring them in. I want to hear more about this.
Okay.
Let's bring them in.
All right, let's do it. First, we want to welcome Melanie Waldman, who is an advocate for disability in the media. She is also a QVC model, was part of Selma Blair's adaptive fashion launch, and a two-time Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge team winner. Melanie, welcome.
Hey,
Hi.
Melanie.
Hello.
Welcome.
You guys. Thank you so much for having me. This is the best day ever. Best day. Couldn't be better.
Well,
thank you.
We definitely want to hear all about the amazing stuff you're doing. But before that, let's bring in the other guests so everyone can meet them and be a part of this conversation. Right, Varney?
Okay, 100%. Let us welcome in Katie Madura, who studies and teaches multiple martial arts, traditional and flashy, and incorporates her inspiration of the fighting styles in Legend of Korra and The Last Airbender into her work. Hello, Katie!
Hey, guys! How we doing?
Doing well.
So good. It's great to see you again. Melanie, you and I are meeting for the first time, although we had a wonderful chat before we started recording. Katie, I'm seeing you again. We met at a con, and if memory serves, I feel like I embarrassed you in front of everyone by being like, oh, so you are Korra. Like, I'm talking to Korra right now.
No, that is the highest honor I think I could have ever gotten from anybody. That was honestly, I think I told, like, everyone about that.
Hey, which con was this?
Where were we?
It was Chicago Comic-Con.
Okay,
P2E2.
That's right.
I was
C2E2.
there.
Yeah. Did you guys meet?
You were not there.
No, we see that's
I
the
wasn't
problem
there.
with the overlap is that
You
we've
see,
done it. It's
I
like
was there.
but
No, you weren't.
It's like we've done it together. We've done it apart. One's been here.
Katie
one
looks
hasn't.
familiar to me too. Are you sure I wasn't there?
Have you guys?
You know, if I'm
met
familiar
otherwise?
to you, I'm about to lose my mind.
He
Where?
recognizes greatness.
Hey.
He recognizes greatness.
Now, Melanie, you said
My little intro, yeah.
You said QVC
I brought
model?
up QVC.
What
Yeah, I
is
might
that?
have dropped Selma Blair's name.
There was
I
some
am-
name dropping.
I'm intrigued. What's going on, Melanie? What's going on with that?
So yes, it's true. I am a on-air talent member at QVC. I'm on the model roster. They call it a static model, which I think is great for this because, Azula and her lightning. That is the static.
Oh, Melanie's
Hey.
jumping into
model.
some Azula very
Already
soon.
jumping in.
I see
Already
some
jumping
Azula
into it.
vibes there. Look at that top bun
Yes.
going on.
Oh yes. Oh, you knew it. You knew what was going on. You could already tell.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. Katie, so one of the things that you and I talked a lot about when we were hanging out at C2E2 was just sort of the way, like your relationship to martial arts and kind of how Avatar informs it. And I feel like we even talked about, and I think it's sort of out there, this kind of John Wick style of choreography, like this sort of stuff that we all kind of take for granted. But are we asking the question, like, where did it come from? And like, where do those sort of worlds collide when you look at how stuff is being depicted in the media with choreography? Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so if we think about action movies, kind of 90s, 80s, even or the early 2000s, it was a very rough and gruff. I'm going to hit you across the face, and you're going to hear that doosh and the and then it's going to go across the face, and it's very kind of 1-2 static. Or we get kind of into the Bourne legacy, Jason Bourne. We got that shaky camera. And that was kind of
Mm-hmm.
to cover a little bit of the skill set of the actors, just in case something didn't look as good. We knew something was happening. So how do we start to portray the martial arts? Well, interestingly enough, two people from our school. Their names are Mike Chat. Mike Chat was actually one of the Blue Power Rangers back in the day. And we
Yeah.
have another student named Matt Mullins. Now they're both adults, I believe 40s or 50s years old, but they are students from my instructor as well. So we come from the same lineage. We're all black belts from the same school. Mike Chat invented something called XMA, and XMA stands for Extreme Martial Arts. So he has that coin term. So this is where we start to see the flashy stuff, the spin kicks. I'm doing a backflip and then hitting somebody in the back of the head. And the idea was that we want to take basic martial art concepts and turn them into something flashy so that we have this concept where everybody can start from somewhere and turn it into this thing. So now we have movies like we get Atomic Blonde, or we get the John Wick, as you were saying, where we have these actors who have these, some martial arts training, and we're able to have longer cuts and longer choreography because of the training and this concept that was created.
That is so awesome.
Phenomenal.
And I think that is something that really I mean, listen, actors are fine, but like it does feel good when you are more participative in stuff like that, and
Yes.
and to not feel like, like you were talking about, it's like some of those older movies when we watch them, it's like, did they never realize that we were going to be able to pause at a certain point? Because sometimes it's like, oh, that's not, Cameron Diaz, that's a man,
No, it's
with
true.
facial hair.
Of
You know what I
course,
mean?
of course.
So
And when I did Hook, we did a lot of training.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I did all my sword fighting, so I feel very
see, this is
proud
what I'm
about
talking
that.
It feels good when they
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
to cut away right away. Exactly what you were
Exactly.
saying, Katie.
But as you get older,
Uh-huh.
those training
Those
sessions,
cutaways start to feel pretty
those
good.
training sessions, like, I gotta go where? We're gonna do what?
I got to be house sore the
Hold
next
on a
day.
second. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Is there no
That's
one that you
actually
can find
That's
that
the
looks like
wonderful
me?
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know some guys.
Yeah. They kind of look like me.
They
They'll
look
do.
They look
To
good.
Rough House.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's I think you're right. And I also love the kind of, I feel like what you're describing too, there's like, we sort of, it almost like skips back to more OG stuff, like the same kind of stuff that Mike and Brian were inspired by,
Right.
where you're really just seeing the grace and beauty of martial arts.
Totally.
In a way that, like, I really appreciate. I feel like you see that in films more now, and I'm sure Crouching Tiger had a lot to do with that
Of course,
too.
so
'cause it was
many,
such
yeah.
huge.
Yeah, it's a different
It's a different world, yeah.
world. I mean, go movies that I love, Errol Flynn movies and things of the past. And,
Yeah,
these
Yeah.
you're going, what they're doing now
yeah,
is wild.
yeah.
Back to Melanie. Talk to me
Yes.
about the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. I wonder what that is.
Yes.
I growing up, I did a lot of stuff with Easter Seals. I was involved with Easter Seals for many years, but I didn't know
Yeah.
about this Disability Film Challenge.
Oh, I would love to talk about that. It's honestly so close to my heart. I've been a part of it since 2017. I did my first competition. A friend of mine, actually from the same area, she had lost a leg. We were connected through theater groups,
Wow.
and I saw she participated. I had just graduated with my degree in theater, and I acquired my disability. I go by disabled. I'm disabled. I became disabled in 2013. So I had taken some time to think about it. I was like, I got to just give it my all and go for this. So she and I linked up. We made our first film, and I have been doing the Disability Film Challenge ever since then. I'm obsessed with it. They do their finale at Sony Pictures, which I got to go to
Wow.
twice.
Oh.
Both years that I won, I was there in person. It was amazing. And so the film challenge was actually essentially created by a man named Nick Novicki, who is a colleague and friend. Honestly, I look up to him so much. He does a lot for advocacy and disability inclusion in the media. And we really want people with disabilities playing characters who are disabled and have that representation show.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, it's really about getting those people in front of the camera and having people in Hollywood watch our films and share them. The award that I've won twice for was it's an advocacy award. So the amount of spread that you get and people to watch. So it really is, it goes back to advocating and spreading the word about the talent that there is out there, just getting us there, getting us in the door. So also shout out to Danielle Pretzfelder, Demchick, for getting me here. And she just is,
our
she
Danielle.
is such a great
She's
advocate
rad.
for
She's the
me.
best.
I'm getting teary eyed just thinking about her. But yes, thank you for asking me about the film challenge. It's been a great road, and you guys, you should definitely check out the films this year. They're announcing the genre coming up this weekend, and then in April, I think the first week of April is the challenge for this year.
Okay, so everything gets knocked out in a week, essentially. Like the idea is
done.
let's
Yes.
push through this. Got it.
Ready, set, go.
I love it. I love it.
I love a film challenge.
Oh, me too. Although it's been a minute since I did like the 48
minute
one.
for me.
We'll come back
It's
to
a
that.
commitment.
We'll come
It is
back
a
to that.
commitment.
It's
to
definitely
do.
a commitment. Katie, as we're sort of living in this world, thinking about empowerment and thinking about inspiration, I would love to hear from you kind of when the Avatarverse came into your life and you know how it's kind of shaped what you're doing now.
Yeah, so little backstory. Little Katie had no idea what martial arts was until I saw the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was a woman. It had everything to do with the fact that people were hitting each other and it looked like it made sense. And I was like, this is a thing? Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I fell in love with karate at that age. So I was about 9 turning 10 at that point, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's a show about martial arts with these elements. In fact, I remember the trailer, and I remember Zuko going, "You're just a child," and Aang goes, "You're just a teenager," and I'm like, "That's funny." Then I remember specifically this show, and so what was so interesting about this show was, you know, we kind of touched on the fact that, you know, we have the John Wick choreography, and that's what people kind of think when they go into martial arts is, oh my goodness, I'm going to do all these cool moves. I'm going to look like a ninja. It's not the most realistic of situations. You know, it's most traditional martial arts places, and you know, there are obviously outliers where aren't so great, and you have your schools that are great, and then it's across the board. But we start with traditional martial arts, which is the bread and butter. And the thing that's so amazing about Last Airbender is that you get to see the traditional martial arts. All of these, it's the 4 styles or 4 main styles of Kung Fu. I know Toph does a different style, Southern Mantis, but we have a concept in our school, and it's called Bunkai, and it's when you do your forms and you're explaining your form. It's somebody's attacking you while you're doing your form. So it's like, when I do these moves in the air, not everybody understands what's happening, because sometimes there's a punch and it's like, okay, I'm punching. Doesn't always make sense, but then you put it to something. And that's almost what we have with going on with the elements. And then when you hit to Legend of Korra, we've taken this traditional martial art, and now we've got the boxing, you know, of course, doing some judo with it. But it was very cool because now you have kind of like the 1920s industrial era. And that's when boxing kind of came into play. So now we're elevating it into, not only do we have the traditional martial arts, we now have what people see with the MMA and the boxing and more of what we're normalized to. So having something that represented traditional martial arts so well with theories was so crazy. And I want to say that what I started to really look into the lessons behind Avatar was after watching Legend of Korra. I do relate to Korra really intensely. And during the same time I was training to get my black belts, I went through some injuries. And I went from, you know, lifting weights and like training like multiple times a week to the point where my doctor was like, you can't lift more than 10 pounds. Like your neck is messed up. And I was like, 10 pounds isn't a lot. That's a cat. Like you can't pick up a
cat. 10-pound cat. Katie, 10-pound cat?
Yeah, that seems right to me.
Is it?
Yeah,
What
cats
did you
are
think
like
cats
adult.
weigh?
I don't
It's
even
like
know.
You think they weighed like
15
5 pounds?
Anything-
Spelt. They're spelt.
Yeah, they are spelt. For a second, I thought you were suggesting that cats were made out of felt, but that's not what you were
No.
saying. You were saying they're
That's
spelt.
what I thought too.
Okay, all right.
10-pound cat.
10 pounds seems about right. I don't know why I'm like holding my arms in the air as if that's helpful in any way. Like, okay, I'm imagining my cat, my cat Luco. She was probably about 10
10-pounder?
pounds,
Yeah.
I think. We're getting off
Rewatching-
track.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
Don't pick up that
So-
cat, Katie. Don't pick up that cat.
Yeah.
Don't pick up the cat. So laying down, you know, you're told you can't work out, and that's exactly when you want to work out. Is when somebody
Yes.
tells you you can't. You're like,
Ugh.
And
Yes.
I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to rewatch my favorite series for the 80,000th time. I'm going to rewatch Korra. And just, it was like watching, I was like, oh my goodness, like book 3, spoilers, Korra, and book 4 too, going through this trauma of not, being able to move, everything stripped away from her. It hurt so bad, but it also was so nice to know that even though this was a fictional character, it was like having my feelings and emotions represented on the screen.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I understand that this show, she's going to come out in the end, but that doesn't mean I can't make myself come out on the end.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to kind of apply more of the Avatar lessons, is after I went through my own trauma. And I was like, well, when I become my black belt, or when I am given the responsibility of teaching, should I accept it? I'm going to start looking into different outlets as to how I can represent what helped me get through my own journey.
Oh,
I
isn't
love
the
that
best?
so much.
That's the best.
It's not in my
It's
notes, but Katie knows this. I actually teach adaptive yoga,
Mhm.
and that's Korra related so much to me in my story that way too. So hearing you say that's your connection to it, relate. Hardcore, relatable content.
Teenage angst, anger issues, but whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Many of us can relate to that as well.
Yeah.
Many of us can relate to that
How
as
did
well.
the Avatar world come into your life, Melanie?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, very similar to Katie. It was during the pandemic for me. I think it was when I had an appendectomy. So I was also down for the count and needed something to watch. And I believe that was when Avatar was there for streaming. Now,
Mhm.
during the pandemic, I went full nerd. I binged all of these series.
Yes, as we all
right?
did.
Like
Yep.
watching Avatar for me was just kind of this. I watched it when I was younger, and I vividly remember I was a little bit older than my brother. He's 5 years younger than I am. So I'm in that little mix of, I was older. I was the teenager, Katie, where I was kind of like watching, but not watching because it was a kid's show. But I vividly remember the episode where they go to meet the king of Omashu and they're riding through the delivery system.
Yes.
And I remember that so well. So watching it and getting being an adult and watching Avatar, it is so nuanced and deep and beautiful. And for me, I've talked about how I love getting into the juice of things. I love a good villain. I love a good backstory. And having Jason Isaacs, when I found out, I actually have been listening to your podcast as I rewatched it again for this to prepare.
Yay.
Jason Isaacs, I actually wrote a paper on him in college for my acting classes. They said, pick a villain. And I was like, just one? How about, do the Malfoys count as one character? Okay, here we go.
Lucius Malfoy.
Just Malfoy. And then, of course, knowing all the voice actors behind this series, like you, Dante, and there are so many other actors. I'm sorry, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Don't mind if I do.
Whew. You have to mention it. So
wild.
Avatar for me, yeah. I haven't, like many of the other super fans on the show, I have not watched this hundreds and hundreds of times. I've been trying to. I think I'm about 6 times in. But still, this is very near and dear to my heart, like I said, because there's so much, especially in book 3 where we are now, that they get into the chakras and they get into yoga and all of these really spiritual things that just at my core I'm all about. So that's Avatar to me. That's really connecting back to being a nerd, being a yogi, being an actor. It just speaks to every part of who I am, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is the thing about being a nerd that is so pleasing to me, is when you're a true nerd, you don't care when people tease you for loving something so deeply. And that's definitely true for me in the Avatarverse. I very recently said to my partner, and he was like, you need to just talk about this with Dante because I'm not here for it. But he was laughing and teasing me. But I was like, he asked me some question. I was like, it's kind of like how there wasn't an Avatar for 100 years. When you really think about that is mind blowing. And he was like,
Yeah.
Is it mind blowing? He's like, is your mind blown right now?
Think about that right now.
And for this fictional world, because I was getting visibly passionate about it. I was like, no, but really, we don't spend enough time talking about. There is supposed to be an Avatar at all times. 100 years is a very long time to not have one.
Right.
And all the things that can go wrong in 100 years. And he was like,
Which
again,
did go wrong.
I know you love
Which
the
did go wrong.
Avatarverse. Yeah. But he's like, you are talking about this as if it is present day society in the real
Did he
world.
say? Did he say, "Is this your Roman Empire?
I mean,
Is this your Roman Empire?"
Kinda.
he should have. He should
But he
have.
wasn't gone. I mean, he was gone, but we don't know.
Yeah.
It's like Elvis or Tupac. Like, are they gone? They're around.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're not here, but we kind of feel like
Sure.
maybe,
Yeah.
Right?
possibly.
And that was
Yeah.
Aang. They're
I
trapped in
love
an
that you
iceberg.
just
They're trapped in
related
an
it to
iceberg.
They're
Elvis
trapped
and
in icebergs,
Tupac.
yeah.
You honestly sound like me with my fiance because I get so worked up when talking about Avatar. Like, I constantly go into how Korra and Aang are complete opposites in
Mhm.
almost every aspect. And
Meant
so
to
when I go
be,
into
yeah.
when I go into Korra's development, because I know she's a little season 1 and 2, I'm just like,
She's
Oh,
probably
you're
yeah.
so angry.
Yep.
You're so angry. Why are you so angry? And I
Yeah.
get it. But I'm like, you don't understand what she had to go through, and Aang lost his blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we were talking about the dishes. And I'm like, this goes deeper than the dishes. We're here for the Avatar. And so it's I get like that all the time. So I completely feel when you get passionate about something,
Mhm.
you have to like
Yeah.
go take a walk afterwards. You're like, I need to go do something.
100%. But you're also, both of you are also taking that and like I don't want to say justifying it because that makes it sound like it needs to be justified, but having the real life reasons to justify the conversation about it
Right.
because
Mhm.
of the art inside of the show, because of the advice and the inspiration and the values inside of the show.
Well, it's
Like,
personal.
Absolutely.
It becomes
Absolutely.
personal to you.
Absolutely. And then you're
Yes.
spreading it and you're
Yes.
taking it to other people. Like, that's what it's all
Absolutely.
about, you know?
And it's funny that you say that because something that really spoke to me in this series was actually how they do represent disability in the world of the Avatarverse, because
Yes.
there's so many different complex disabilities that just it's endearing and it's very small, and like the humor just comes out in little blips. Return to Omashu, I believe, season 2, episode
Yeah.
3.
Yes.
When they get pentapox, there's a little old man. He's got a prosthetic leg, and Sokka says, "Okay, now you got to act and walk the walk." And the old man comes out and he goes, and Sokka says, "Yes, that's it." And he says, "Years of practice," and then takes his cane and bangs it on his prosthetic leg. And I'm like, that's my whole life. That's how I
Yes.
cope, is with the dark humor. And to have that in like just a second. Meanwhile, they're talking about hostages in that episode.
True.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
Goes
how
deep.
they're getting out of it. Goes deep. Like they
Woo.
go real deep. But to make light of a situation that is so dark, that is a really big
Toph
coping
has
mechanism.
nonstop humor. Toph has nonstop humor about
She
her
goes off.
sight disabilities.
Oh my God. When she says
Yes.
stuff like, when you've seen nothing once, you've seen it 1,000 times or whatever, I'm just like,
Oh
She's the
my
one.
you
gosh.
are the
gosh.
goat.
I'm
you
dead.
are the goat, Tom.
She's like,
She's
the
putting
I'm
up the
dead. That's like-
posters of Appa, and the
Oh.
Appa posters are backwards. She's like, it's upside down, isn't it? You can't even see Appa.
Sokka's like, oh, it's so dark down here. I can't see a thing. And she's like, oh no, what a nightmare. He's like, "Ugh."
But
But
again,
it's so endearing.
we all get it. I mean,
Right.
we've all, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, Melanie, but like, again,
Mm-hmm.
as a person who has and has not things I can and can't do, some of which I've never been able to do, some of which I've lost
Sure.
the ability to do due to things that have happened to my body. We've all been on
Absolutely.
either side. We've all been on either
You
side
have adapted.
of that.
That's the word.
Absolutely. And even with whatever particular disability we happen to have or whatever moment we are in our lives, we have all put our foot in our mouth, so to speak. We have all
Yes.
all been the person who's like, "Oh, I realize what I just said and it's kind of not the right thing to have said." Like, all of those moments are so human, and I think those opportunities to be upfront and open about it and to kid about it, but at the same time to be compassionate about it is so much better
Yes.
than like, no, we just don't talk about that. Like,
True.
don't bring up the because
Oh,
you know,
and-
it's like
and
we
you
can't live like
can't-
that.
You can't imagine how many times, and I have a prop with me, how many times I just go to my friends and I will lift up a hand that I just have on hand. And I say, do you need a hand? Because I didn't even introduce myself with a visual description. I am a right arm amputee, if you cannot see me at this time, below the elbow. But like you were saying, Janet, there's a before and after of you having the ability, right? Toph, I think we believe Toph is born with her disability.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her eyes are blue, and she, has all these characteristics that are drawn into her physically, literally. But then there are those of us who do acquire that, and Korra loses her ability later on down the line, and the power that Ty Lee has of being able to make people stop.
Hey.
There's so many little things and little moments of adaptations that you see in this. Aang can't sleep. There's
Right.
so many things,
Yeah.
right? Like there's.
Zuko loses
It's
his
not
ability
just
for a hot
disability.
second.
He does. We just talked
I've
about
lost
it.
my
We
stuff.
just talked about
Not
it.
too
A little
long,
puff of
though.
spark coming out
Go
there. I
back.
lost my stuff. Exactly, Katie. And
That's
too,
what
like,
Me, I didn't take it.
I love that. I love
Exactly.
that.
I think too, like writ large in Korra, you know, with the first season, foreshadow report, we're hit with,
Foreshadow.
you know, the ability to bend. Period. Like
Period.
just not being able to bend is a very
Yes.
different experience living in a world with people who can.
Right.
And I think giving us that lens where it's like, no, let's pull out even further and talk about this in this very big way and talk about what it feels like and talk about how frustrating it can be in those scenarios when you feel like, well, this is an ideal scenario for a bender. Now I'm being taken advantage of because I can't bend and
I
this
am
doesn't
not a
feel
bender.
great.
I am
Maybe Amon has a
bender, I am
point.
not.
Yeah, exactly.
Mako, am I bending?
Everything will be all right. We just need to get out of here.
Of course, you know, we're going to ask you our big questions. But before we do that, I just was very excited about you two in particular. And so we worked up
Yes.
some fun stuff that we are excited to hear your answers on.
Okay.
And we
Let's-
understand
Yeah.
that they're your answers right now.
There's
You
no
could
wrong
have a
answers.
different feeling in an hour and be like, oh, I also could have said blah, blah, blah.
We're not going to hold you to it.
We this is
Just send you an email. Be like, no, wait, listen.
yeah, this is how you feel this moment, and there's nothing
Didn't
wrong
you
with it.
say?
Yeah.
Okay, first question for Katie. Would you rather compete in an Earth Rumble with Toph as your partner or join the Fire Ferrets and pro bend with Korra, Mako, and Bolin?
Wow, nerd Armageddon. Okay. Okay, so I had okay. So as somebody who's seen both series, I know we can kind of notice I lean a little bit towards Legend of Korra. Here's my thing though. I respect Toph so much.
She's the
And
goat.
I can recognize
agree.
her. No. So I recognize her as like the greatest earthbender
Yes.
of her time, obviously. I can't be a partner to that. That is not she took down everybody in 2 moves. I'm gonna be off to the side like, let's go team. You don't need me. So I would probably choose the Fire Ferrets. 1, because I can replace Mako as the firebender.
There
And I'll
you
be
go.
like, me and Korra can work together. But 2, fun fact, one of the things that has also drawn me to martial arts, and I do hope to do stunts one day, I love dramatic falls and used to make up
Yes.
dramatic falls.
Oh my God,
Oh,
I
And
love
like
this.
in
so
my video
cool.
games, I also make my characters dramatically fall into water because I think it's
love
funny. And I'm like,
this.
oh, they hit the water, it's fine. I know that's not the case.
Uh-huh.
But if I was able to do that in the pro bending, like just do like
Yes.
this crazy awesome combo, and then they spin 7 times, hit the mat, and then hit the drink. That's it. That's
Great.
my childhood
Great.
right there.
Great.
Love it.
So I think we're going Fire Ferrets.
Okay. Melanie, if you want to
Yes.
answer that question too, you're more than welcome. Don't feel
Oh,
pressured.
you know what? I would be right on the sidelines with Katie for sure.
Uh-huh.
Just cheering everybody on. Go greatest
With
earthbender
Toph, yeah.
in the world, Toph. But Katie, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover.
I
I'm
love it.
soft and cuddly. But I will say, Katie, that I work in the film industry. I'm in SAG-AFTRA, and I work with stunt people. They are the best people.
Oh man, could not
I
agree
love
more.
stunt people so
Could not
much.
agree
They
more.
do so much. They go above and beyond. And I just watched The Boy Who Lived, which is a really great documentary about Harry Potter, his first stuntman becoming disabled, and his progression in life. Highly recommend that. It is so wonderful. And also, as somebody who acquired a disability, to see that happen of somebody who has a career
Yes.
in the film industry,
Yes.
become disabled, and then like stunt people, that is your full body.
Yes.
That is your body is your instrument in that.
Yeah.
And just to see all the work that they really go through. But yeah, in this situation of the question that you asked, yes, I will be on the sidelines.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
actually,
watching
fun
Toph
fact.
dominate.
My karate studio, we actually have a little bit, it's almost like a ritual. A lot of the people, when they turn 18, they actually go do stunts in Hollywood. I think
Oh,
so. My
I love
studio
that.
is Sharky's Karate Studio. It's out in Naperville.
Yay.
We have, I think, over 50, 60 of our students who actually are active stunt people.
Yes.
So
Okay.
sometimes
Very
I get
cool.
really mad. So sometimes I get really mad because they're like, "Hey, can you cover these classes? We're gonna go film Karate Kid," and I'm like, "I hate you." I'm like, "Sure, I'll cover the classes."
It's not fair.
Yeah, no. So
We'll be cheering for them on the sidelines, Katie.
Love
It's
it.
okay.
Love it. Okay. Melanie, I
Yes.
happened to know some of your favorite characters. So
Okay.
here's your would you rather. Would
Okay.
you rather fly for a scenic view of the Fire Nation on Appa or hang out and eat snacks with Momo. That's right. I'm
Okay,
bringing in two of your favorites and pitting them against
two of
each
my favorites and two of my favorite things, which are scenic views and snacks.
Yes.
I can choose both. I can't. No.
Now
I
this
have
is
to
a
choose
would
one.
you rather.
Either
I
or.
can have cheeseburger.
I would
yeah.
I would totally have snacks with Momo while like taking it in.
This
I'm
is
a
why
snack
I'm
queen,
making. That's
though.
why we wanted to be cruel and give you guys like
I
awesome,
know.
two awesome
It's a
things.
really
you
hard
can
one.
choose.
I'm gonna go with snacks. Snacks all
Great.
day. Give me
Snacking
all
with
the snacks.
Momo.
Great.
Snacks with Momo.
Fire
He's
Nation
so
has a
cute.
great,
Yeah.
a great landscape.
Well,
Great
let's see what Katie
cityscape.
says.
What
Katie,
about
you
you?
gonna jump on
yeah,
Appa?
what's
Oh, I
Katie's?
would fight Momo for the food. That's the
Okay,
Oh my
problem.
great. We got
goodness.
snacks with
Oh.
Momo.
I can't do that. I'm trying to chill out. And my cats are kind of like Momo, so I already live with that.
I
So
see.
I'm gonna go scenic with
There we
Appa
go.
mostly
Let's
because
go.
I'm not trying to fight and lose to a flying lemur
That's
over
a
some
really good
snacks.
That's a really good
He
point.
would probably win.
Enjoy
Yeah,
the
no,
Fire
he's-
I think
Nation.
that's
scrappy.
undeniable.
He'll
Just
just fly away.
kick it with Appa a little bit. Enjoy the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
Get the
Yeah.
fire gummies,
There
the
you
hot
go.
flakes. What I can't remember the little
Hot
fire
Flakes?
flakes.
Fire
Fire
Flakes.
flakes. That's it.
Okay, another question. So, for Katie, would you rather spend the day on the high seas with the pirates from book 1 and 2,
Oh,
or spend the day interning for the warden of the prison in book 1?
These are two
Those are
less
horrible.
pleasant.
These are both
They're
horrible.
less pleasant. They're less pleasant.
Okay, so this is a slightly easier than the last one because as much as I would love to just listen to George Takei the entire time and zone out, I can't consciously, in good faith, discriminate against an entire set of people. So I don't want to imprison anybody and be like the power over them. 'Cause
True.
that's messed up.
Yeah, no.
So I don't want to imprison any earthbenders. So we're gonna. And who doesn't have a pirate?
Pirate's
fantasy?
life for you. Pirate's life
Fair.
for me.
Like,
That's it.
let's go swashbuckle. Let's go. I'm gonna mess with that parrot bird thing that they hang out with.
That was
Like,
the worst
let's
pirates
go-
ever, but I mean,
you know, if I'm gonna be a jerk, I might as well be a jerk to everybody and just steal
There
some
you
gold
go.
instead
Equal
of imprisoning an
opportunity.
entire type of person.
Equal
So,
opportunity.
We're going, yeah, equal pirate. So as
where
much
are
as
the
the ocean,
authorities with these pirates? These pirates are running rampant.
pirates.
No one,
there's no
That's
authority.
pirates
That's what
no
a
They're
pirate
pretty
is.
rough.
pirates on the high
mean,
seas.
Yar.
100
Where's the
years
water-
without an avatar. It's mind-boggling.
Where's the
Mind-blowing.
water tribe authorities?
Yep. Yep.
No, we're just. I'm gonna kick it with the pirates and just be a little crazy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Melanie, what about you?
I do. I have to go with Pirates 100%. Of course, I'm actually a Disney College Program alumni and a former cast member. And I did, funny enough, I think it's ironic. And here's my dark humor. I was a pirate in Disney World before I actually became a pirate and have a hook now, which is, to me, it's karmic. It's karmic reward,
Perfect.
right? But I am a
Foreshadowing.
pirate to the core. Foreshadowing. I loved it though. I would go to work in Disney every day, and most people in Magic Kingdom were like, "Oh, tra la la, magic," and I'm like, it was an acting role and a retail role, so
Yep.
a little bit of both.
Yep.
You had a script you had to follow, and I all day just got to be mean to people.
Wow.
Oh, it was
It
so
is-
fun. So yes, I will hang out with the pirates, no problems. No,
For
I don't care
sure.
how they smell.
I get
I'm a
it.
pirate lady all the way.
I get it. I think I would do the same.
All
I would
grown-ups
do the
are
same.
pirates.
Yeah.
All
You
grown
can't
ups,
balance.
that's fair.
Oh, there we
But-
go.
Who wants to go to prison?
No,
No one wants
no
to go
one
to
wants
inside
to.
the prison.
It's just the
run
thing
the
is, George
prison.
Takei
I
does
don't-
such a great job
Stay
as
away
the
from the
warden.
prison.
He's so funny to me as the warden. But
I already
I
have
can't
a
go
little
there.
bit
I
of a
can't
power
go
trip
there.
as like an instructor, so I don't need
There
any
you
more.
go. There you go. Everybody, yeah, we don't know exactly
Yeah.
the ranks of those pirates, so well, you guys can sort it out. All right, Melanie, would you? I feel like I know the answer to this, but
Okay.
would you rather have to pamper Azula on her spa day, or walk through a dark forest with Hama? I know your.
That's-
I don't know
I
your
think
answer. We got to
that's-
make Dante answer this one because he's
That's a
scared
little
of
too
horrible.
rough. It's
Yeah,
a little
that's
too
rough,
rough,
buddy.
buddy. I would not be with Hama. There's no
No way I'm with Hama.
No
Hama.
I'm sorry. Did you want to put cucumber slices on your own sister
I'm not
who's
doing
mean
that
to
anyway.
you
I don't
and
care.
like brush her hair for her?
First of all, she's my little sister.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing none of that.
She's not getting any of that. All right.
She ain't getting none of that, but I'm definitely
I would
Auntie
be eating
Hama.
the cucumbers.
Yeah.
No, Azula is kind of she's my kindred spirit a little bit. I just something about
Watch
like
it.
I was
Watch it,
I was the
Melanie.
older. I know I was the older sister, so like I was the oldest of my cousins, and I just kind of have that like that confidence that you don't have to really anticipate. It's there, and that's where Azula speaks from. I would want to hang out with
That's
Azula. I'm not
psychopathic
weirdo.
confidence are we talking about?
I
A little
mean,
Potato, potato.
bit, tomato, tomato.
What about Auntie Hama for like a little walk in the forest with Auntie Hama? Heck no! I don't want to go there, Mom. I'm not gonna go hang out with
Yeah.
Auntie Hama. She scares me.
Katie, are you gonna
She's
go
so
with? Are you gonna go with Auntie Hama? Are you gonna go hang out with Hama in the forest?
I'm actually going to go with Auntie Hama in the
Oh,
forest on
my
this one.
goodness.
we gotta take her.
That's
Here's-
worse than the
you-
spa
no,
day. Come
because here's the
on.
thing.
A take.
So if I heard the question right, you have to pamper Azula.
Correct.
So I would get Azula and I would clash. Okay, like she'd be like, "You didn't do this," I'd be like, "Girl, I don't know that." Like, and then
Exactly.
I would get banished from the Fire Nation, or
Exactly.
she
She's
would
dangerous. She's
or
dangerous.
she would like
She's reckless.
and into me, and I'm like, I can't be dealing with that.
She's
I'm
reckless.
too much of a
Yeah.
I'm too much of a out there like kind of a like person.
This is a no-win
So-
situation.
It's
why I made
really
it hard.
is. Like
At
that's
one
the
point-
that's a thing. It's a
We
it's a
don't-
lose-lose.
We don't know if I'm gonna get bloodbended because we didn't talk about whether it's a full moon or not. She doesn't
Right,
have Amon
right.
powers or Yacombe powers.
Yeah.
She don't gotta know any of this.
I don't want to be
look,
nowhere
I-
with
I-
Hama.
I
Never.
love
Nose
horror
goes.
movies. I love
Yep.
cryptids. I don't want to be
Oh.
in one because that'd
Right.
be terrible. But I'm assuming if I am in the Avatar verse, I have some type of fighting, more of a fighting credibility.
Okay.
So I'm gonna chance it and just be like, bloodbending. That's wild.
That's true.
I'll,
Yeah.
you know
she
what?
could
I'll
not be in a
take my chance.
blood-bending mood. She could just be making you
Yeah.
soup. She just make you soup.
Yes,
I gotta tell
exactly.
you,
And I
I
will
think I
take
might go with Hama too.
the
Oh my
meal with
God.
the psychotic old lady over the pampering of the psychotic young lady.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Congratulations, Katara. You're a bloodbender.
Melanie, what character from
Yes.
Avatar The Last Airbender would you pick to do a 48-hour filmmaking challenge with?
I love this question so much. It's very hard. It is very hard because I have two in mind. Okay, hear me out. First is Sokka.
Easy,
Sokka,
easy.
100% easy.
1000.
Because you both as actors know that the gift of working with directors who are formerly actors, Sokka is the comedian, right?
Yeah.
And he has the gifts to give to the actors in the
Yes.
Yeah.
in the theatrical
I think
sense.
Sokka's a no-brainer.
He just in his core, to me, he is a director. Like in
Yeah,
another life,
100%,
Sokka would be a director.
He's also
100%.
like, you guys need me to lift this thing? Great. Where do we
Totally.
got? Like somebody's
He's
got
a
to go
team
get
player.
something for someone with low blood sugar.
He
Great.
is a
like
team player.
Anyone
he's
who's been on
Swiss
set
Army knife.
needs you need team players.
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
I think that's
And
a
then
great answer.
two, the other person creatively on the end that I would pick, and this one might be a little like you might not expect. I would say Boomy. Now
Oh.
I say this because
He's a
of in the
king.
King of Omashu, he creates an entire
That's
scenario
so
where
true.
he has the main character and has to discover all these things about his best friend.
Yeah.
Foreshadow report. Best friend. This is
Yes.
his best friend
Back
in the
shadow
world.
report.
Back
And-
shadow. Yeah.
Backshadow. Oh yeah, I was gonna say what backshadow.
I don't know. I just made that up
he-
right now.
It's brilliant.
And then he
Perfect.
just traps his best friends in
Yeah.
rock candy.
Yeah.
Just like no big.
He
Who
is very creative.
thinks
He's
of that?
very
I want him.
imaginative. He's playful
I
and
would hire him.
imaginative.
He's like the Willy
I want
Wonka
that
of
too.
the Avatar.
You want that too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
I
pretty
love
good.
that.
That's pretty
That's a good one. Yeah. So I would say Boomy or Sokka.
Katie,
Mhm.
you want to answer this one?
Oh, the Ember Island players.
Ah,
Well, yeah.
Because it would be the craziest,
Oh my
most
gosh.
wild,
Love.
inaccurate.
Great.
It's like a parody, and I think it would just be
Absolutely.
fun. I would just-
Absolutely.
Mockumentary style.
The entire studio of the Ember Island
You
players.
know,
Absolutely.
It's
Amazing.
filmmaking.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
one
it's a
says
mockumentary
It's
in
not
itself.
documentary. It's filmmaking.
Yep.
Hey, I want whoever was pulling the fake avatar on the wire. I was like,
Oh my
the
God.
strength they had
So
for
amazing.
her to
So
keep her. I'm
amazing.
like, good. They care about their actors and their stunts. Let's go.
That's right. Okay, Katie, what character from Avatar: The Last Airbender would you choose to do a walking tour of a city you've never been to with?
I have to go with probably the most all-knowing character. I'm going with Uncle Iroh. And it's because not only
yes.
is he gonna know the
Mhm.
the ins and out, the history of the city,
Yeah.
and I love his fatherly, like his father figure vibes, and I would love that energy. But also, on top of him knowing every big thing, I would assume he knows the people, the nitty gritty, the
Love.
spots that you miss,
Spin
the
around.
hidden
Stop
treasure.
for that spot of
Spin
tea.
around.
Take in your
He's-
environment. Don't
You
rush.
don't have to go to the inner ring of Ba Sing Se. He can find the diamond in the rough on the outer walls,
Love.
and meet people, and it doesn't necessarily mean he has to know the person, but
Love.
when he does come in contact with somebody, it's like they've
He's
known
a
each other for
well-traveled
a
man.
while.
He's a
Yes.
well-traveled
So
man.
I would
Yes.
100%.
Took him a while to get
go
to
with
Ba
Uncle
Sing
Iroh.
Se, but
Yeah.
beyond Ba Sing Se,
Yeah.
you know.
He stopped, gave himself a little hot tub action
Yeah,
along
yeah.
the way. He knows how to enjoy.
Yeah.
He knows how to
So
enjoy.
I would,
On the
and,
way.
yeah,
to
I feel
Ba
like
Sing
I could
Se.
learn some stuff.
I love that
So,
answer.
Uncle
Ooh,
Iroh.
Melanie, what about you?
Oh, Iroh all the way. 100%.
Yes.
Iroh's great.
He's
Like,
doing a
even
guided
just to,
tour that we
like,
all get to go on.
To play
Yes.
Pao Shou with all the people, I feel like he might know somebody in every city to play a game with.
He
and sit
knows
down and
everyone.
He
He's
knows
a
those
well,
White
well
Lotus,
traveled
yeah.
And
man.
it,
White
yes,
Lotus.
yes,
Well
and he
liked.
would know the history of a place, but he also would know like the details of like
Heck yeah.
culture and things like that.
For
You really
sure.
want to know. And
For
hearing,
sure.
I think I like storytelling more than anything. So hearing people talk about a place sometimes is really important to me.
But
Yes.
So
you
sitting
guys,
with Iroh,
not
yeah.
to toot my own horn, if you want to come and spend a day in the capital city with the Fire Lord.
Okay,
it's
again,
not
he
a
is
bad-
selling
Oh,
it
I'm there.
hard.
I'm so there.
Okay.
Always,
I
you know
mean,
he's always
well,
selling.
not a
for the
bad
royal
thing.
Always
invitation.
selling. Always be
Iroh
selling.
I
probably
mean,
rubbed off
Zuko
on
knows some
Zuko.
places also. He knows some people, got some
Sure,
hookups,
okay, silver sandwich.
got some love some places.
Listen,
I mean, I
I'm
love Uncle Iroh
sure,
also. But I'm just saying,
I know.
I'm sure Iroh rubbed off on Zuko in
Yes.
many situations.
Zuko knows
and
absolutely.
he
a
pretends
few
like
hot
he doesn't
spots
listen.
in the hot city.
Absolutely.
You know,
I
He
know
just
he
pretends.
does, buddy.
He
Hot
pretends
can't
he
believe
listen
that
all
spots
day.
get you on the list in certain
Yeah.
places. Don't worry about
we
it.
know it. We know it. Don't you even worry about it. Okay.
Prince Zuko, is something wrong? You didn't take the palanquin.
I'm just going to May's house. It's not far.
It's not a prince's place to walk anywhere, sir.
Let's go first. What are your favorite hybrid animals? What's your favorite hybrid animal? Let's go with you first, Katie. What's your favorite hybrid animal?
So I know there's like a million of them,
Yeah.
and I was
Mhm.
trying to think of like the kind of cool, sleek could also be your battle buddy. But I love Pabu. I love Pabu so much. The fire ferret. I think the wolf followers are cool, but I always thought something like Shirshu was also really cool.
Yeah.
but
Shirshu's great.
Pabu's just
Not
got
very
that little like those
aesthetic looking.
Momo vibes.
He's your
What's
buddy.
Pabu?
He
Pabu's
does.
what?
Yeah.
What
He's a
in-
fire
He's
ferret.
just
I know he's a
fire
fairy.
ferret.
What
I
else?
think
Yeah.
he's a
It's a ferret
red.
and a
He's
red
a
panda.
red.
It's a panda.
Red,
Yeah.
Striking
panda
resemblance.
ferret.
But
Striking
yeah, but I-
resemblance.
He's a
I
red
always thought it'd
panda
be-
and a ferret.
Yes. I always thought it'd be really, really cool if they did a red panda mixed with a tiger, though. Like I was
Oh,
thinking
heck
of
yeah.
like,
Cool.
I was thinking of,
love-
I was thinking
Love.
of like hybrids to create. But I would say just because Pabu,
What about a
Pabu
badger?
is
Yeah.
What
just
about a
such an
badger and
icon.
a ferret?
Because Pabu.
What about a badger?
That's
Badger.
just
You
basically
figure
the
out what a
badger
badger
wolf.
looks like first, and then we'll talk. Melanie, what about you?
Oh, this is an easy one for me. In listening to your podcast, learning about book one that Naga was supposed to be an avatar and
Yes.
what she was and what she meant to the creators.
Yes.
I had a yellow lab growing up, and
Yeah.
Naga is like 100% my dog's face. Like, and I saw that.
Love.
So, and I think that's for me having Naga as Korra is my favorite. Between the two.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. I know
Pabu
we're
and
on the
Naga
Avatar
for the
series.
win,
Wow.
everybody.
But
And
Naga,
she's-
Naga for
Kokoro?
sure.
Naga's, she's half particular dog.
Polar bear
I mean,
dog.
polar bear
Polar
dog.
bear-
but
polar
a
bear
particular
dog.
dog.
I mean, other
Polar
than
bear
that,
dog,
we
I
did,
think.
yeah, polar bear. But like breed of dog, I don't think
We don't know.
we're going that deeply into it. But
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I
looks
just-
it's a
like
good question.
lab to
It's a fair
me.
question.
Yeah,
But I
like a
agree with
lab
you.
or
The
a golden
lab.
retriever.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
one of
that
the
that's the
two.
face that we're looking at. Love those answers so very much for all the reasons you can imagine. And then who do you ship, Melanie? Let's start with who. With who?
Oh my gosh.
Let's start with you.
Okay.
Who do you ship?
Okay, here we go. I was just listening to the episode with the woman who voiced Azula and
Great
Taizula
Noel.
for
Yeah.
me.
Taizula.
Taizula.
I
I love
love
Taizula.
Taizula.
I love Taizula.
Something about like
Nice.
I saw it. I
Tylee.
saw it. There's that scene. Was like, oh yeah, it's Taizula
Yeah.
all the way.
In the beach, yeah, for sure.
The beach is like one of the best. But also when they meet, like you kind of get the sense that Tylee can stand up to Azula.
Yes.
course.
In some scenarios. Like
Yes.
that's really important because there's really not many characters who would do
and
that.
Azula's
No.
wild. She set those nets on fire to one of her best friends. Like, you come or you're
She
Yeah.
did. She did.
Mm-hmm.
What are you
And
doing?
she
I
puts
know.
her
Do
foot
it.
down.
I
She puts her
know.
foot down. And I have to respect that. But also Korasami.
Love.
Oh,
Love.
But that's
Love
another-
Tezuka,
that's
love
another story.
Korasami. Katie, talk
do.
to us. Who do you ship?
Korasami.
Yeah, you could. I was
Going straight
who
to
do
it.
you
for the
ship?
win.
I'm
You
so
ship
sorry,
Korasami.
Katie.
No, so like I mean, the thing that was really cool with Korasami too was that was my first ship. Almost everybody was like, "No, it's not going to happen." That was my first like canon ship, almost like that
Mhm.
started out where it wasn't established. Like the end of the series didn't
Yeah.
start, and they ended up together, and it was crazy because at the end of book 3, I called it. Because when
Love
when
it.
Asami has that like little moment with Koro at the right before the coronation, I was watching the series with one of my coworkers at that time, and I went into work and I went, "Why did I think they were going to kiss?" He's like, "They weren't going to kiss," and I was like, "No, that felt intimate." And he was like, "No, you're crazy. It's not going to happen." I'm like, "I don't know. We'll see what happens." Book 4
Good
happens.
call. Good call.
And I had the
Foreshadow
biggest
report.
like I told you so like when I went when
Oh,
book
dang.
4.
Beautiful.
So I mean, even their names complete each other. You don't have to
I
cut their names
know, it's
off.
very
Korasami,
true.
Korasami.
It's very
They
true.
complete each other. I'm sorry, I'm such a nerd.
Oh,
but
dude, no, you're in the right company.
Korasami all the way.
Love it. Love it.
Now it's time for the big question. I'm gonna start with Katie because I kind of feel where it's at because you're wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, we did
You
hear
talked
some
about it.
mention, some
Go
name
ahead.
dropping.
So, in the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, if you were a bender, what kind of bender would you be?
Well, no, I'm kidding. Obviously you can't pick Avatar, which is rough.
I feel like
but
you can. But
Some people have.
You can.
Janet, the only person who can tell me I'm the Avatar is you. So I'm just but no, if we're
Janet
going
is
with
the
the
Avatar, but she's still water. But
exactly.
she's still water
I,
tribe.
I
She's
told
still
Katie
water
she was
tribe.
the Avatar.
I
She
she
is
had to
still
deal
Water
with it.
Tribe.
But
She
even
is.
even if you
Yeah.
are the Avatar,
What's your
You're
your
still
we're
an
going,
element.
tribe?
we're going
What's your
Fire
yeah?
Nation, baby.
Fire Nation, baby. Let's go for the win.
Yes.
High fives, Fire Nation.
Yeah, and
Good
this is
folks
this
out
all
there in
Good
the fire.
folks out
Good
there in the
folks from
Fire Nation.
Good folks in the
And-
Fire Nation.
all has to do with fighting style. So like karate, which is my
Oh.
main martial art. I do like 5 martial arts. Karate is where I started. Even though the style of karate I started in, it's very low, solid stances. You would think it's kind of earthbendery, but each element has these low stances.
Yeah.
The Fire Nation is, I almost say it's like the offensive air. They're very similar in the movesets that they
Mhm.
present, at
I
least
like
in
that.
Last Airbender.
Mhm.
I have a very like aggressive personality, and I get very into it, and fire is something when my friends talk about me, they think you're a very fiery, passionate person, and it comes through with my striking and my techniques, and I am very loud and aggressive. So I would go Fire Nation based off of those
There we go.
attributes.
Let's go, Fire Nation.
There we go, Melanie.
Nation.
What you got for us?
I mean, Dante kind of called it with the top bun I'm rocking today.
Hey,
With
Fire
my-
Nation. Let's
With my love for Azula, we're going Fire Nation all day. But there
Fire
is
Nation
a reason
family
why
in
I
the house.
say that. Yeah. I'm the same as Katie. I would love to say Avatar too, because there's parts of me that's like yoga, acting coach,
Oh, yeah, you
QVC,
both
all of
have
the things that I do.
so much going
that
on.
all kind of right. Like, who wouldn't choose to be the Avatar? Like,
I'm
It's
not
a lot of
choosing
responsibility.
So too much responsibility. I'm not. No. Don't look at me for all this stuff.
So the Fire Nation I would choose though, because I think 2 of my favorite Fire Nation characters are actually Iroh and Roku, because Roku is the
Yes.
Fire
Oh,
Nation
Roku.
avatar,
Yeah.
whereas like they're kind-hearted souls. Like we learn
Yes.
about Roku and the relationship that he had, and that's just and Iroh in himself. His bouncing back from being in prison, right? Where they're like, "You old man, you can't." Blah, blah,
Oh
blah."
yeah.
It's just
And he
jacked.
comes back buff.
Yep.
That kind of relates to my story of becoming disabled and then going back into the world and having no fear. And he honestly,
Yes.
and then he gets captured. Is it before or after before he gets captured by Azula, he does his dragon breath of fire.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just that moment for me was everything.
Oh
and
my
just
God.
seeing him just kind of in his
Dragon of the
because
West.
he
Yeah.
does
Ladies and
present
gentlemen, the Dragon of the West.
of the
the
West.
Dragon of the West. He presents himself so calm and humble and very balanced, but when he has to fight, he like claws out.
He knows
I
what to
respect
do.
that. So yeah, Fire Nation.
I love that. And I
all
love
day.
the Roku answer too, because that's
thank
the
you.
little brief glimpse we get of what it's like
I
to have a
know.
Fire Nation avatar who still believes in balance. And that's so important for us to
Absolutely.
remember
Oh, yeah.
that Fire Nation does not mean
And him and
imbalance
Sozin are
every
best
time.
friends and everything.
And Dante
Very
said
sad
it,
story.
like the
It's a sad
good
story.
people of the Fire Nation.
right.
Good
It's not
folks.
Gotta
just
represent.
like Fire
Melanie,
Nation.
Fire-
Katie, some good folks
Got
of the
to
Fire
represent.
Nation.
We've
The
Barney.
good folks
Fire
of the
is
Fire
life
Nation.
and energy.
If we
life
have
and energy.
ever proved it before now, I can't think of a time we've proved it more than today with our good folks of the
go.
Fire Nation.
Good folks of
you
Fire
saw
Nation.
them here.
Shout out to all
Lady
you good
Oatman.
folks of Fire
Katie,
Nation out there.
Melanie, thank you for representing
Thank
that
you,
Fire
guys.
Nation. Thank you for
Thank
representing
you.
the fandom. Thank you for all you do and all the inspiration you're bringing to everyone in your lives and beyond. Thank you so much for doing this. Where can people find you if you would like for them to find you?
Yeah, so I'm mostly just on Instagram. I don't know how Twitter works or X now.
You're fine.
So I have my personal page, which is my screen name is Knockout95, knock period out period 95. You get a little bit of just my daily life or some martial arts stuff. And then I am currently in the process of coming up with a self-defense page, which is going to be called Beware the B1 Ladies. It's going to be a page that's run by me and my co-instructor, who is an awesome second degree black belt in judo. And the page is going to be dedicated to self-defense.
Awesome.
It's going to focus on a lot of females, but I believe that self-defense is supposed to be accessed by everybody. Everybody should know how to defend themselves, and everybody should know that there are threats, coming big and small, whatever you need to know.
Mhm.
So come over to the page for some demos, a little bit of lessons. So when that comes up, I'll have it in my other Instagram. But
Awesome.
Brilliant. Love
two,
it.
two pages, hopefully.
Melanie, what about you?
So I am on the socials. My background is in marketing, so I'm so sorry. I have like a laundry list. I go by Where's Waldman, like Where's Waldo. That's
it.
my
That's
WALDMAN. Where's Waldman? Instagram, TikTok, X, what is it? Threads. They're
Yeah.
all there, all of the things. And then I also have another account for my yoga business, which is called Adapting Yoga, just all
Hey.
together.
Great.
Also on the same apps and all of the things. And Adapting Yoga, we do one practice a month online on Zoom.
Beautiful.
So it's virtual,
Awesome.
accessible. It's a chair practice or whatever you want to make it. We cater it to anybody's ability. You don't even have to be disabled to come, right? Anybody can show up at any point in their life, so long as your doctor says it's okay. That's the most important thing to me. And then my podcast, Little Miss Representation, I'm going to get that up and rolling on Spotify ASAP. And it's right now on YouTube. You can watch episode 1. And
Great.
like I said, episode 2 is coming. Nick Novicki and Into the
Let's go.
Into the Spider-Verse? Across the Spider-Verse.
Across
Great.
the Spider-Verse, yes.
Across, thank
Co-directed
you,
by our
yes.
friend Joaquin Dos Santos.
Joaquin DeSanto,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, shout
Y'all,
out. Yay.
ugh.
Love that movie.
Thank you. Thank you. Love what you're both up to. Everybody, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
watching or
Thank you.
listening. And we will talk to you next week.
Did you know you can hear bonus episodes of our award-winning podcast?
Subscribe to Avatar Braving the Elements Premium on Apple Podcasts for early access, exclusive content, and ad-free listening.
I'm so excited!